Hello, everybody. This is Gerard Dawson, and thanks for listening to the EdTech Startup Show. I appreciate everybody's feedback that you've been sharing and some of your reviews, and please keep those coming on the next full length episode coming up. I will be sharing those reviews. So, today is another snippet episode, and it's a special one because unlike most of the conversations that have been evergreen and about general topics of EdTech, this one has some special timeliness to it, and it has a special announcement from Jessica Millstone, who helps to run the New York City EdTech Meetup. So, whether you're in the New York City area or not, you're going to learn about Jessica's philosophy towards the meetup, and that's really a valuable lesson for anyone who runs a community, really of any sort. So I hope you like this episode, and here's me and Jessica talking about her work with the New York EdTech Meetup. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually just go right into another question here to break things up and maybe get a laugh to transition to another topic. Here's the question. Would the New York EdTech Meetup be the same without Mike Kleba and Sharia Huda? Which this was asked by Sharia. So maybe you can, just for listeners, explain that more or less inside joke, and then tell us a little bit about I'm curious just about basically lessons that you've learned from your work with running the meetup.
I can say absolutely the meetup would not be the same without Mike Kleba and Sharia Huda. They have made it very much what it is today. So the New York EdTech Meetup is a volunteer member organization. We, like I said at the top, we have almost 9,000 members. Now we grew over 1,000 members this year alone. It's the country's biggest EdTech meetup. And, we host events, we have an email list, we do a lot of networking between our members, sort of on demand. And then we've also hosted mentoring sessions, panel discussions, marketing workshops. We've done a lot of things, we tried a lot of different formats for our events. We have some really big plans for this year to even step up our membership value a little bit more, developing some premium content just for specific members of the meetup who want to engage with each other a little bit outside of the events. And we're really excited. We have a really close relationship with the South by Southwest EDU Festival. And actually on our next meetup is February 11th here in New York, and it will be co-hosted by South by Southwest EDU. So some of the programming team will come from Austin and get to interact with our New York community a little bit. And then in March, we'll be going to Austin to the festival and doing an event there. So we have a really nice back and forth relationship with them. And essentially the three of us, we're equal co-organizers. We just try to really balance the needs of our audience, who are educators, entrepreneurs, and investors in the EdTech space. And so we're really responsive to our membership community. And I think we've cultivated a nice group of regulars, but also new people each time. The community is so welcoming and bringing in new people and really helping people transition between those roles that I mentioned. What we see really our role being is a way to help people move between entrepreneur, investor, educator, and be able to meet all the people operating in those spaces and be inspired by them and model themselves a little bit and find their mentors and their mentees in those spaces. So both Sharia and Mike have teaching backgrounds as well. So they're amazing in person, and they're so engaged with the community in person and online, and have really helped us step up our events and our presence in the community. So no, it would not be the same without them for sure. I would not be able to keep it going just myself.
So I think the point that you mentioned that really resonates with me, and I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
highlight for anyone who's listening and is in the greater New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania area, is the way that it's a group of people who have the general shared interest of education, technology, business, the intersection of all three, and are kind of free to discuss and, as you said, move between those roles almost in a really unique way. And just to explain to you, the conversations that I have on the podcast here, I've really modeled after the conversations I feel I could have at the meetup, because
Mm-hmm.
when you're around teachers, you don't always have that the element of business or the technical aspects of edtech. When you're around maybe not that I'm in this circle, but if you're just around investors, of course it's going to be this business focused conversation. But it's really cool to see just the way that the group really blends the three of them. You're definitely right that it's a social group, but it's diverse, accepting, and really just beneficial for members.
One thing that we do at every meetup that has become not just our centerpiece, but really the way that we structure almost any event that we do, even outside of New York, is this idea of like, what do you have to offer the community? What do you need from the community? So we call it like, I needa, I gotta. And it's this really wonderful way to kind of introduce yourself to a big group of people at a networking event. But it also gives that aura of like, well, we're kind of all in this together, and what can I do for you? What can you do for me? Not in the transactional sense, but like, who are we as people, and what can we contribute to each other? And the community has just really picked up on that and kind of run with it. And when it works just as well when we bring in other groups like South by Southwest or Start Ed, and Village Capital came a couple months ago. We've really been able to bring in very different communities to collaborate with us, and then do the same with the same technique, been able to integrate people all together very quickly. Because I think essentially people do want to introduce themselves and say who they are and what they can contribute, and also be open to what somebody else might offer them.
Mm-hmm. Right. I love that feature of the meetups, because it drops much of it's very honest. It drops some of the pretense that some other business socializing might have, where you say, I'm going to pretend to just be friendly, and then later try to work in my pitch. And this is, it's very honest.